Let me start this conversation the only honest way I know how, by telling you the truth, sitting heavy on my chest tonight. Because I don't say things lightly. Y'all know me. I don't jump at shadows. I don't spin conspiracies, and I don't poke at children. But when I look at Barron Trump right now, when I look at the silence, the distance, the disappearance, baby, something's off. Something's wrong, and the Trump family may not want anybody asking questions, but I'm going to ask them anyway. And listen, I'm not talking about gossip. I'm talking about patterns.
Yo, let's keep it a buck 50 for a second. The vibe around Barron Trump right now? It is completely sus. For years, Melania fought like a lioness to keep him hidden, and now suddenly he's being paraded around like the new prince of MAGA?
Around him shifted. My spirit whispered, Jasmine, pay attention. Because here's the truth, and you know this from your own life. Children don't fade away for no reason. Children don't become invisible by accident. Children don't vanish while the whole house is on fire unless somebody quietly moved them out of the room. And the timing? Oh, the timing tells a story all by itself. The louder the Trump world gets, the quieter Barron becomes. The more the cameras chase Donald, the more Barron is nowhere to be found. The more public chaos erupts. The more the youngest Trump slips behind a curtain nobody wants us to look behind. Now, before we go a step further, I need to ask the family question I always ask, because I love knowing where this community is listening from. Which country are you watching from tonight? The US, the UK, Canada, somewhere else entirely? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And while you're down there, go ahead and tap that like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications, because tonight's conversation isn't loud. It's not chaotic. It's not dramatic. It's quiet. And sometimes those are the most important conversations of all, because when a child goes silent, y'all know this. The silence usually belongs to the adults, not the child. And as I started looking at Barron's timeline from when he was present to when he wasn't, I realized this wasn't teenage privacy or personality or shyness. This was something else, something deeper, something the Trump family has been dancing around for years. So take a breath with me, because when a family this loud hides one child this completely, that's not a coincidence. That's a message. And tonight, we're going to figure out exactly when that message began. Now, before we talk about the silence, we need to remember the sound. The sound of who Barron Trump used to be before everything shifted, because children don't just vanish, they fade, little by little, step by step, until one day you wake up and realize you haven't seen them in months. And when I rewind Barron's timeline, I see something important, something a lot of people forgot. I remember that 2016 campaign. Barron was young, tired-looking, shy, overwhelmed, but present, standing behind his father at late-night speeches he didn't ask to be part of, walking beside Melania at the inauguration, tall and quiet, that baby trying to look smaller than he was. Do you remember that moment when the whole world was yelling and chanting and celebrating or crying, and there he was, a child trying to breathe in a space built for adults? Then the early White House years. Here and there, you'd see him boarding Marine One, walking across the South Lawn, standing next to his parents with that nervous, polite posture kids have when they're told, "Smile, sweetie, the cameras are on."
Nah, the math ain't mathing. I'm asking the one question the Trump camp is terrified to answer. Is Barron running the show, or is he being used as a political pawn? We need to decode this sudden shift before it's too late.
Surviving, just a quiet boy in an environment that eats quiet people alive. And let me say this, because I've seen this dynamic too many times. Every family has that one quiet child, the one who watches instead of talks, the one who absorbs instead of reacts, the one who stays out of trouble, not because everything's fine, but because they learned early that staying visible means staying vulnerable in a house full of storms. I remember being at a community event once, watching a little boy sit quietly in a corner while the adults argued. No tantrum, no tears, no complaints, just silence. And I remember turning to his grandmother and saying, "He's too quiet." And she said, "Baby, that child learned to disappear when voices got too loud." That memory hit me hard when I think about Barron now. When a mother creates a bubble around her child that thick, that protective, that impenetrable, the child disappears not just from danger, but from everyone. From siblings, from cameras, from the world. So now we have to ask the question Melania will never answer out loud. Is she protecting Barron, Or is she hiding the truth about what this family's chaos has done to him? Because whichever it is, in protection or control, it created the first fault line in this disappearance. And baby, the next fault line, it comes from the man who should have been Barron's anchor, but was too busy holding a microphone. Now, let's talk about the other side of Barron's world, because while Melania is building her fortress brick by brick, boundary by boundary, the man on the other side of that wall is Donald Trump. And the absence there, honey, it speaks louder than any speech he's ever shouted on stage.
Man, look at the timeline. This isn't an accident. It's a calculated rollout. But for whose benefit? Barron's or Donald's?
You see a man who knows how to show up for attention, but does not know how to show up for his youngest child. We've seen him with Don Jr., loud, proud, putting him on stage like a soldier. We've seen him with Ivanka, polished, presented, paraded like a brand. We've seen him with Eric, obedient, always nearby, always useful. Even Tiffany, distant, yes, but still photographed, still acknowledged when it benefits him. But Barron is the only one Donald never built a public narrative around, the only one he never showcased as part of the family dynasty, the only one he never molded into a campaign accessory, the only one he never speaks about unless someone forces the question. And baby, when a father ignores the youngest child in a house full of chaos, that child learns something early. If I stay quiet, I'll stay safe. Let me tell you about a little boy I knew once. Quiet as a whisper, always in the background while his father was loud, unpredictable, and hungry for attention. And let me say this again, slowly, because I mean it with my whole heart. This is not about attacking a child. This is about understanding the environment he's growing in. I've spoken to so many seniors over the years, everything the adults refuse to name, and if you think Barron's silence is haunting now, the story waiting for you on the left side of your screen right this second uncovers an even deeper layer.
That's the real tea. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and catch the details the mainstream media is ignoring, smash that like button and subscribe to Crockett Decode. We don't just watch the news, we expose the strategy. Catch y'all on the next one.